That's really fascinating. And Colby, I wanted to ask you about President Biden. Switching gears a little bit, got a jobs report last week that had some positive news about jobs being created. But when we look at polls right now, and we see how Americans and voters think about this economy, and they think about President Biden, we're seeing him get pretty low marks across the board. And I wonder what it is that we're seeing here, and what the reaction has been in Democratic circles to the fact that, by and large, a lot of Americans are not feeling good about the economy, and they are not feeling good about the job that they think that President Biden has done in the economy.
I've spent some time on the road this year, and whenever I talk to voters and ask them what issue they're concerned about, it is always the economy. They always want to talk about the fact that the price of things is higher now than it was under President Trump. And so, even though these economic markers are improving, that's not the lived experience for many Americans. And I actually had this exact conversation last week with Senator Bernie Sanders, who said this is a huge issue for Biden because he needs to be able to relate to people and say, okay, yes, the economies might be doing better in these ways, but it's not going well for them. Prices are still high. Living is just more expensive, and people aren't seeing that reflected in their wages. He talked about tens of millions of Americans are hurting because they don't have enough money to retire. They can't afford prescription drugs. They can't afford to send their kids to college. Like, these are all realities for a lot of Americans. And what Senator Sanders said to me is that Biden really has to do his work to not just talk about the economy, how the economy has improved under him, but also to recognize the fact that people are hurting, and to explain to voters how, if you reelect President Biden and if you elect a Democratic Senate and Democratic House, that there can be more done to improve those issues for working Americans.